All right, welcome back live. We continue right here on Pittsburgh CW, 7 nights a week. We're here taking your calls at 412-575-2600. It's the sports call on the Borders and Borders hotline. So let's go to Lou in Fox Chapel joining us right now. Hey, Lou.
Hi, Bob. It seems to me that the officiating in hockey is allowing more and more rough physical play, and it would seem to me that the Penguins have got to, in the off-season, try to get some bigger, more physical defensemen so they can compete and not get beat up so much.
I don't think that's to me, it's still a speed game. All these teams that are doing well, Lou, have increased their speed. And I look at a team like the New Jersey Devils. I think next year, a team that you must contend with. I think, watch what you're watching here with Tampa's a big team, but also a fast team. Speed is the #1 issue. I don't think that becomes a big. People are making it out to seem like the Penguins got physical into the series. I don't think that was the case at all, Gene.
No, I don't think so. I think the physical politics of this series benefited the Penguins more than the Capitals, because the Capitals lost Tom Wilson for the second half of the series. So, the Capitals gained no advantage from the way they played in the first two games.
I'll tell you what, their first line, they have Wilson on it. He's a good hockey player. People made it sound like he was strictly a goon. He's not.
No, he's a very good player.
He is, and
he's very big.
He gives a lot of space to Kuznetsov and Ovechkin, and now they were forced to use some younger guys who weren't in their plans, 3 of them specifically, and they were outstanding. Jacob Vrana has been outstanding. Chandler Stevenson has become a regular with them. So if you get young people, this is sort of what happened with the Penguins in their first 2016 during this back-to-back championship when they brought up Rust and Sherry and Wilson and Kuhnackel, and all of them were contributing. You don't expect young guys who are not making a lot of money to contribute, and they are, and that bodes well for them in the future.
Well, they did, and the Penguins, especially under Mike Sullivan, that they're not interested in playing that really physical game. They just want to play and do it their way. Now, of course, they did sign Reeves, but of course they did let him go. They're not interested in doing that, and they don't have to do that to win, in my view.
And by the way, I know people are dissatisfied with the fact they didn't win 3 in a row. It doesn't happen very, but they'll be one of the teams to look to, and with a little bit more rest, could be a factor next year. And maybe 3 and 4 would still be something that you don't see on a regular basis.
No dynasty died here last week. Don't put that in your
not at all. As long as Crosby and Malkin are around, I think they're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
There is debate about Phil Kessel. If you got some team that came out, now first of all, they're going to have to be willing to eat more money. The Penguins will have to give some of that, eat some. You're going to need a team that wants him, willing to give you value in return, and willing to take over the final contract at $7+ million.
Yeah, absolutely. Carl Hagelin is another guy sort of in that situation.
Who of these 3, Letang, Hagelin, or Kessel, if you had to pick one who might be traded, which one would it be?
Kessel.
You do so?
Yeah.
And what would you expect in return?
Just the most value. Well, you'd hopefully have a top-line forward to start with, and maybe something else.
All right, we'll see. All right, let's go out to Keith in South Park. Keith joins us right now on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Hey, Keith.
Hey, Bob, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm okay. Is there a pitcher out there the Pirates could add in around the trade deadline? I think they can win the division.
Well, it depends on where they are at that trade deadline. If they're not in a position to deal with that scenario, then they're going to probably sell off players, and I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Harrison's one of them. But if they're in it, then given all the clamor that we've created about Bob Nutting not spending money, although I do think in 2013 they did go out, and Marlon Byrd was a really good player at the time. People forget about that. He was one of the guys people wanted in a trade, and the Pirates got him. But would they be willing to, give up some prospects? That's been a bugaboo with them, Gene. They haven't done it unless it meant saving money.
It'll be interesting to see if the Pirates maintain their position in the division at the trade deadline, what they'll do, and it'll really reveal whether or not Nutting can be pressured in any way, really, because there's just such an uproar over not adding. We'll see what he's capable of not doing.
But so by the way, we've talked a lot about Garrett Cole here, but have you seen what Charlie Morton's done?
Oh, I know.
Last outing. 7 innings, 14 strikeouts.
Yeah, the strikeouts thing is becoming kind of an asterisk stat. I mean, people are striking out at an unbelievable rate. There are more strikeouts than hits in the first month of the season. The San Francisco Giants struck out 55 times in 4 games in Philadelphia. Then came in here and struck out 29 times in 3. That's 84 strikeouts.
That's a lot of strikeouts.
In 7 games.
You did a lot of math on that one.
Well, I'll tell you, really, some nights I feel like I could go out there and strike out 6 guys if I can get through 3 innings.
But it still goes to show you that a guy like Cole and Morton, they lead the league in those categories. So it's, you know, while people may be doing it more and it increases in numbers overall, those 2 guys, specifically Morton, who's now 5-0 with a microscopic ERA, and since July in all of baseball, he has the best ERA of any starter in baseball. Where he was here and in Philadelphia, it looked like his career was over.
I have to tell you, I had no faith in Charlie Morton. Never.
No, I don't.
Now he's one of the best pitchers.
And people want to blame the Pirates. I wouldn't blame the Pirates. He wasn't doing anything at the time. Although they did give him a 3-year, $21 million contract, thinking, that they could.
He was always hurt.
Always hurt. All right, interesting stuff. We'll take a break here. It's 412-575-2600. The final is in from Vegas, or from Winnipeg. Vegas wins that game 3-1, so that now evens the series at 1-1 as they head back to the Vegas Strip for games 3 and 4 in that series. Marc-Andre Fleury really good tonight, and the Knights showing you how dramatic and fundamental they are. And Gerard Gallant, what an outstanding coach he's been for them, and they'll have that series even heading back to Vegas. We'll be right back after this.